Welcome back to Do It Myself Garage. As you can see, it's raining, but that's going to be turning to snow here very, very soon. I have the snowblower here. She needs a little work. I kind of messed up the carburetor last year when I was working on it. So I bought a new carburetor. I'll put a link in the description. I bought a replacement off of Amazon. And so we're going to go through, put this on there. Oh, nice. It even comes with a shutoff. I had already added a shutoff to mine. So it comes with all these parts. Let's get to it and see if we can get this carburetor on there and get it to run better than it's been running now, because it hasn't been running very good at all. Oh, even got a new spark plug, so that's cool. We'll see if that fits. Comes with a lot of little stuff here. Let me get you on the stand and we'll get to work on this. All right, so I just took this cover off. There's the grounding strap for killing it. It's attached, so I just let that hang down. The carburetor, there's just a Phillips drive on the back here, and should be able just to hold the nut. I've had this off of here recently. It shouldn't be on there terribly tight anyway. And yeah, I dropped the nut, but no big deal. Screw comes out. And then you have to just disconnect your linkage. There'll be a throttle link. You've got your throttle linkage here, which attaches to the. On mine, it attaches to the governor back here. And then the governor attaches to carburetor. So you kind of have to wiggle this out of here. It's got a little bend in it, and you just got to get it past that bend. So if you play with it, you should be able to get it. I might have to disconnect the fuel line first in order to be able to wiggle this out of here. I don't think so though. Oh, there we go. She's already coming out. Maybe not. Fuel line has never been attached very well on this. I picked this up on the curb at someone's place. They had it for sale for like 150 bucks, I think, about 5 years ago, right after we moved in here. I think after the first winter we went ahead and bought this. And it's been a good little snowblower. Not a whole lot of maintenance required on it. Oh, come off of there. Come on. I'll have to cut that back. Oh, great. Broke off in there. What a piece of junk. Oh yeah, be sure your fuel's turned off or you'll have her all over the ground. Mine originally did not come with the fuel shut off. Oh, that was off. Now it's on. I had to add it. Strongly suggest adding a fuel shutoff if you don't have one. Makes it a lot easier in the spring. You can turn off the fuel, run the carburetor dry. And for those of us in areas where they sell ethanol in the fuel, you do not want ethanol staying in these things. You don't want to use ethanol at all if you can avoid it. But if you do, you want to make sure you drain these things completely. Alright, so I'm going to show you real quick here. Comparing the two. This one looks a little bit smaller, but I'm not worried about that. Looks like it's going to bolt on there just fine. We don't typically run air cleaners on snowblowers. They would just get iced up. The rest of this looks pretty close. Fuel line's on the same side. There's their vacuum line or whatever that was, so I can hook that up. The linkage looks oh, I have to bolt this piece, unscrew this piece to put on here, but so I'll have to do a little bit of
I have to take that piece off. Let's go do that real quick.
Well, it turns out that the choke on this one, my little mechanism, is off about 90 degrees on the new one. So, against my better judgment, I already started. I'm going to try to bend this. It's either going to work or it won't. Let's see what happens.
Well, as goofy of an idea as it may have seemed, I got it so the handle, when it's straight up, the choke is off, and I can turn the choke on going to the right. So what I did is inside on the little butterfly, there's a screw, so I took that out. This just slides out. I did end up having to bend this little rod. I suggest you just buy the right carburetor instead of buying this one. But that looks like that'll work. Let's see if this works. They put a 90 on this one. Mine comes straight out on the other one. Let me see if I can swap those. I don't know why I was having such a hard time with that. I got her now. All right. So I got this hooked. I just picked the spot. I'm hoping this line doesn't get, fuel line doesn't get too pinched. It's just a really bad, oh boy. I don't know if that fuel line's gonna work. Yeah, we'll find out, I guess. Oh, one problem after another. Apparently I ordered the wrong one for this one. Alright, get this started. Okay, the other one started. I've had pretty good luck swapping out carburetors on small engines. And they say I would have just rebuilt the other one, but I kind of screwed it up. I messed up bad. I was trying to clean something out and I don't know what I was thinking. Anywho's, get this in here. Come on, start. There we go. Oh, I forgot the gasket. Oh well. It's a snowblower. Alright, let's put this piece back on there. The bracket that mounted on this carburetor won't fit anymore. And I never had it screwed on here anyway. But they're supposed to be... Get on here. It's like yoga. Get it just right. Anyway, there's some screws that are supposed to go into here to hold this whole cover. And they've never worked since I bought the thing. So I just left that bracket on the old carburetor. Let's try not to drop the screws down inside like I did last time. I had a whole nother video ready of me working on this snowblower. And then I realized how badly I had messed up the carburetor. I was just kind of doing the typical get your equipment ready for the next season type video. And then I realized how badly I had messed up this carburetor. So this ended up being a carburetor replacement video instead of a tune-up video. Choke, not choke. Alright, well, we'll put her on choke. I'm going to open up the door here so I don't smoke myself out. We're going to move it over closer to the door. Alright, so unfortunately the fancy extension cord thing I have for the ceiling won't work for the snowblower because it has this like captured thing here. Alright, turn the fuel on. Check the oil since I brought it up from the backyard. Oh yeah, we're right where I left it after last year. And it'll stop running when the key falls out. There, all the way in. There we go. Well, that's running a little bit fast. I also forgot to prime, but with the electric start, you really don't need the prime. It'll suck it through real quick. Yeah, put your dang key in. All right, so that's idling awfully high. So I'm going to pop the choke knob off of here. I'm going to take this cover off so I can adjust the carburetor. Okay, and I probably need, now we'll see, I wish you could now. I also might have picked the wrong hole for the carburetor to go into. Okay, now let's try that, see if it pulls it back. If it doesn't, I'll put it in the other hole. Okay. All right, that needs to go in that other hole. All right, so I put her all back together. I got the throttle linkage in the back hole. Bent some of the other stuff that I've been bending it before for the other carburetor. And now I got the throttle stop in a good spot. In fact, I think it might even be where it's going to idle too low. So that's on the, I got slow, and then there's the start spot. I don't know if I'm going to need choke or not. I've got the key in this time. A little bit of choke. Let's try a little bit of throttle. Okay, so I think she's actually idling too slow. There we go. While I had that apart to move that throttle linkage, I put the gasket in there. I still don't like that fuel line being bent like that, but I guess for what little this thing uses, that should be okay. Don't be afraid to put a new carburetor on one of these if you need to. Try to get the right one. This one obviously was not the right one, but I kind of made it work. As long as the guy's careful. But there we go. I'm hoping all this rain doesn't turn into too much snow, but apparently it's supposed to. So, all right, it's actually a couple of days later, and I guess I realized when I was doing my editing, I never really showed how the linkage on this thing worked. So, from the throttle, there's a linkage here, and on this particular one, it's kind of spring-loaded, okay? And on the top of the carburetor here, I don't know if you can see, but that's an adjustment screw. And then that screw underneath that piece right there, if I can get this thing to focus, right under there, that's the throttle. And that needs to come back. So when I was in the other hole on this, see that little shiny spot to the right there? That didn't allow it to come back and come all the way down idle. So I had to put it in the back hole. And then that whole thing goes out to the governor, which allows it to throttle up, but not run away. So there was some adjusting here.
Some of the linkage had to be bent a little bit to get around the engine frame, you know, around the engine there. So yours will be different, but it's just kind of the same theory. Just play with the linkage. They're made out of basically coat hangers or even lighter weight metal, and it should work. Okay, so now I'm going to put this back together real quick, and I'm going to do a cold start on it, and we'll see how she does. I'm going to try to do it just by hand. Alright, so apparently my camera decided not to record any of this other than me adjusting, showing you how the throttle worked. So it's several hours later. Let's do a cold start and see if I can start this by hand. I actually did get it started by hand earlier, but you know what? Didn't get to show you. Alright, key in, choke on, throttle. Actually, it started a little bit better above 0. I left the fuel on, unfortunately. Give her some primes. Probably don't need prime now because the fuel's been on this whole time. Go! You can see the throttle actually does work though. That's one of the more important things. Drop it down to a nice idle. Let's get warm, see idle's pretty good. That is all I needed right there. I wanted to make sure to include this before I finished out the video. I wanted you to see how that throttle linkage worked. Yours might be a little bit different, but it's kind of the same type of theory. You set a certain throttle and then that governor helps keep it there so it doesn't over rev. Thanks again for following along. Like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. I'm sorry if this wasn't horribly instructional, but you know, again, don't be afraid to throw a new carburetor on something if you need to. Clean out your old ones, rebuild them if you can. But if you're like me and you messed one up, again, this carburetor, most of these carburetors are like 20 bucks on eBay. Or on eBay, on Amazon. Comes with plugs and hoses and everything like that. The hose that they sent with for the fuel wasn't long enough for this setup, but again, it's probably the wrong carburetor. But anyway, made her work. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video, everybody. Bye.